we'll go over that. So thank you everybody for coming tonight. And I see we have Kevin Miskin with us. Welcome, Brother Miskin. And Lewis, nice to have you with us tonight too. So we've got San Marcos is here, Penasquitos, San Diego, Del Mar, and Lewis, I forget, you're in San Diego South, right? San Diego South Stake. So great. We appreciate you coming and getting a little bit more training. Some of this is kind of information that we're going to go over tonight that you may be aware of. We're going to kind of take you through a step-by-step so you know all the different facets of it and can understand it better for yourself and then be able to share it with stake and ward members. And but before we begin, we're going to go ahead and have an opening prayer. And Brother Perkins, may I ask you to give that opening prayer tonight?
I sure will.
Okay.
Our dear kind Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the opportunity we have today to come together to receive more instruction on how we can better prepare in the case of emergency. We hope that our minds be open and receptive to the information, and that we may be able to disseminate it to the units under our care. And we say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. And yes, thank you, Stephen. You're calling in from, are you still in Nashville?
No, I'm in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And if you've ever been here, it's the doors, it's the gateway to the Smoky Mountains. That's like being in Las Vegas in the east.
I have been there. I love it. Very good. Okay, so we have Poway and San Marcos with us as well. So great. Before I turn it over to Mike and Mickey for a presentation, I did want to go over the calendar dates as Marlon had brought up. We had recently been in communication with Elder Clark. We do a quarterly meeting with him, our area authority. And he has asked us, due to, I believe, some church visits from Salt Lake in October, for the communication exercise, the fall communication exercise that we do, emergency exercise. Instead of having it the week after or the same week of the Great California Shakeout, he wants us to do it the week before on the 12th, so it doesn't conflict with Salt Lake. He's worried stakes will not be able to attend if we try and do it the same week. So if you could calendar that in and have that talk with your communication specialist and your emergency response council, so your priesthood leadership is aware of it, that would be great. I don't have any more details, but I'm sure your stake presidents probably know what I'm referring to, because I'm sure that's, if not already on the calendar, in process. So that's one item. Then also the annual training where we all get together for our stakes and wards on emergency response training will be at the Mount Abernathy building on Saturday, September 21st from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So we're working on those invitations. We're still fleshing out the program. So I don't have too much more detail than that, but we will be getting that to you here in August so that you can start disseminating it. Once again, we'll be sending out the invitations to our stake representatives, and we will ask you to send them out to your emergency response council members, priesthood leaders, and your wards, since you have more access to all those emails than we do with the changes that happen. So and then Mike, can you pull up on your screen that link at all that I sent you?
Yeah, let me get at
it. Terry, this is Kevin Miskin. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I also wanted to let you know that the annual emergency communications conferences are starting back up again. There's been a couple of years lull on that. It'd been held
Yes.
in the past in Cerritos. And I think also one other location, I can't think of it right off the top of my head, but it's going to be held at the Ontario Stake Center this year. And it's on August 3rd, and it's for, all of Southern California. I just sent you the flyer that's been prepared, and also the agenda for that meeting.
Oh, perfect. Great. All right, I put it down. And is that a morning start meeting as well?
Yes, the registration starts at 8 a.m. and it will be done at noon, and they will be serving lunch.
Okay. Perfect.
It's sponsored by CIRA. You're familiar with CIRA, right? Southern California. And I can't remember what the IRA, but Craig Holmes and Stephen Lang.
Us San Diegans lovingly call it CIRA, but CIRA, I'm familiar.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. And then Mike, I'm sure we'll be passing that information on to our, well, is that for stake leadership? Who's it for specifically?
Wants to attend. They'll be giving a workshop on setting up your own ham radio base at your home and things like that.
Okay. Great. So I'm sure Mike also will be getting that information out to the stakes and the proper people so we can bring a good group with us, right?
Yeah.
I already said.
You did?
Yes. Okay, so this is on everybody's screen, the emergency response. Are you seeing that? Okay, great. In the past, when we talked about the guidelines that we use in creating our San Diego Stake Emergency Response Program, our San Diego Regional Emergency Response Program, we talk about the Provident Living part where you are getting a lot of those links that of the overview and the preparation and response and recovery and mitigation. And what I found recently is that it's also in this area on the church's website. So your stake presidents should obviously have access to this information. Reading it is a whole nother thing. But I just want to make sure that you're familiar with it. This looks to be more updated than what I had seen on the Provident Living side of things. And I felt like maybe you should go over it and make sure that you're familiar with it. And you'll see that it lines up pretty well with the program that we've put in place. Again, these are kind of guidelines, and our program, which includes the emergency response specialist and communication specialist and networking with the community and such, might be a little bit more detailed than what you're finding here. But again, under our area authority, we have approval to use that program. And so this has been the template, but your stake president should be on the same page with you. It will be really helpful if you don't already have that relationship with your stake president and know where you're going in your emergency response program, that you sit down and talk about this together. And again, that's why we encourage the Emergency Response Council, separate from like a ward or state council, right? So that it gets full attention, and that council would meet just once a quarter to go over your emergency response program, update your plans, update your contacts, so forth and so on. And it brings everybody to the table, eyeball to eyeball, to have these discussions, to know who's going to do what, to know who the backups are when someone's out of town. And so I just wanted to make sure you're aware of it, you know where to find it, and at your own leisure, be able to, look it over, make sure it lines up with what your calling is, what we're asking you to do. And let me know if you find something interesting that maybe I don't have eyes on, but I thought it would be good information to share here. So Any questions?
Yeah, I know, but just for the 10K portion.
Okay,
my rec-
I'm gonna go ahead and then turn over our program to Mickey. And she's gonna go into some detail about the new Genesis system and a little bit on Watch Duty and some of the apps we're using there. Go ahead, Mickey. And you're muted.
Okay, now I'm up. Okay, so before we get started, I want you to listen to this high-low siren because if for some reason there's an emergency and you don't get the information out, or they can't get the information out fast enough to you in your specific area, this is what you are going to hear. Stop. All right. Okay, got rid of that. Couldn't turn it off. So that would be a law enforcement possible vehicle, maybe a fire department vehicle going down the street, in your area. If you hear that sign, that means you need to evacuate immediately. That would have been really helpful when we had the 96 fires because we evacuated from here in Elfin Forest to La Costa. We lost 4 homes out in Elfin Forest area. They lost 120 in La Costa. I stayed up all night, not knowing whether I was going to have to evacuate. So anyway, thank you, Terry. And just so that you know, hold on a second. You can play this by entering in play high-low siren sound effect if you want to play that to other people.
Can I ask a question here, Mickey?
Yeah.
Does everybody on right now understand the difference between an immediate evacuation order versus an evacuation warning? Because I don't imagine that's the sound you're going to hear when there's only an evacuation warning.
No, you'll probably get a notice if you've signed up for specific areas to be notified by the county. They will send you out a notice saying that you have an evacuation warning, but not a required evacuation. This would be, like I said, law enforcement or someone going down your street. If that is played, you get out immediately. You're in immediate danger, which is once again different than a warning, or Okay, let me go to the next one here. Okay, so there's a new mapping system in San Diego County area. And it's better than the one that we had before. So the new one, they're moving away from the grid system, and you can see they're just straight boxes. And that was the regional public safety grid. Now they have the new system called Genesis Protect. And they've redone the lines. Let me show you. You can see that they're not straight. So that is they look at the population size, they look at evacuation routes and try and balance out each zone so one area does not get overwhelmed. So that system helps plan, manage, and communicate during evacuations. Okay, so all zones in San Diego County start with SDC. I would assume if it's Los Angeles County, it would probably be LAC. And they have a 4-digit number after that. Okay, so once again, this is called Genesis Protect. So this is what the app looks like. It's just kind of greenish or blackish. I think on your phone, when you download it, it looks more black and green versus this one that looks more kind of bluish and yellow. At any rate, let's see. So when you get into the app, you're going to need your address. And let me show you. So right in here, you can search, put your address in this little box here and add it. And that would be your current zone. And you can put in multiple addresses. So for example, if you have elderly parents in the area or elderly friends or anybody that you're concerned about, you can put their address in. And this way you can go in and check on Genesis and it will give you additional information. So this is the example of, this is the San Diego County Office of Emergency Services address. And you can see right now on this zone, it's saying that everything is normal. Status is clear. Now they color code the areas, so it's a little bit easier to see. And by the way, you can also access this online. But once again, if it's normal, it's kind of light blue, advisory, darker blue, evacuation warning is yellowish, evacuation order is pink, evacuation order lifted is green, shelter in place is purple. Okay, so here's an example of if you needed to evacuate. It would have your zone at the top and it would say evacuation order and it gives you the information on getting out of there. And
just to be clear, the evacuation warning is really for people who still should leave but would need more time and help, those with animals or disabled or, you know, whatever it is, right? That's the difference.
well, the warning, yes, gets you to be prepared ahead of time and get everything put together, packed in your car. This one, evacuation order, is get out now. I mean, when
Right.
we
But if you
have
wait
Santa,
then everybody
sorry?
else is going to.
so when we have Santa Anas that come through, if I know that it's in Escondido, I pack my car right away because you're never going in a rush. You're never going to remember what to throw in your car. And there have been people that have done these practice runs and then they've left their pets accidentally. So it doesn't hurt to pack your car ahead of time. So the evacuation warning would be there. And then of course you would get notification on your phone as well. So let's see, 12, okay. So there is an offline or an online map that you can download, a PDF version that talks about Office of Emergency Services, shows the map so that you can look at that as well. You can see it says PDF map book with street indexes, etc., printable version. In San Diego, the county sends out the alerts through the public safety agents, through a public safety agency like the Sheriff's Department or another county organization, through the County Communications Center at the Office of Emergency Services in Kearney Mesa. So the county sends out these notifications through Alert San Diego via the wireless emergency alert system, and then it's entered into the Genesis system, their app and website, so that you can access the current information. And it's important to sign up for Alert San Diego and other download other apps. But it is important to know that all cell phones are already set up and will get emergency notifications if you accidentally forget to sign up. These are like major emergency notifications. Okay, so here, in my opinion, are the must-have apps and websites. And Mike will be going over some of these things. So you've got the San Diego County Emergency app, and that will give you, and that's the one with a check mark. You can see it down there. It can also help you prepare, well, it helps you prepare for emergencies, shows you shelter locations, and you can also sign up on there for the early earthquake warning. If an we've got a little sensors up and down the state of California. And so if they see it in one area, they can kind of guesstimate where the earthquake is going to go, and then they can warn you. Another one, this is one of my favorite ones, Watch Duty. So it's just a bunch of volunteers. It's nonprofit, privately run, but it's really, really good. And I encourage everybody to download this app. It lets you know when a fire breaks out. I got 2 notifications today of the 2 fires that broke out today. One was at MCAS Miramar at the 52 and the 163, and then the other egg fire is in Ramona. So I got both notifications on those. And not too long ago, we had the Torrey Pines State Park fire that was in the extended area east of I-5, and it had the potential to affect 2 wards in our stake. The Delmar stake, I'm sorry, the Delmar First Ward and the Carmel Valley Ward. And so because I got that early notification, I was able to notify our bishops and the emergency response specialists. And I told them to download that app immediately so that they could get an idea of what the fire was doing. And like I said, for Watch Duty, all it is the app is a flame. So you see these little flames on this thing here, and that's what the app looks like. And anyway, you know, it turned out everybody was okay, but it was a good thing for the bishops to have. So let's see. Okay, FEMA is a really good one to have as well. I've got that on mine as well. And it also has information on how to prepare, how to deal with disasters that strike, including shelter locations, and how to contact people to help after an emergency so you don't get caught up with the scammers that come around after an emergency. And I didn't load this in, but Red Cross is also another good one to have. The app is a white square with a plus sign in the upper left corner and an exclamation mark in the center of it. That's a good one to have as well.
Mickey, you're
Yeah.
at 11 minutes now.
Oh, sorry, I'm almost done. Okay, and then once again, the Ready San Diego app, Mike's going to talk about that. And then finally, Pulse Point. I have all the fire departments, it's connected with the fire department, and every single, you get notified when the fire department gets notified. I would recommend only doing structure fires, vegetation fires, hazardous materials, utility emergency, down power lines can start a fire. And natural disaster flooding if you have flooding possibilities in your area. But I have every fire department surrounding me because if any fire starts, I can at least be aware of it and know whether or not, based on where the wind's blowing, whether or not it's going to affect me. That's my PowerPoint, or that's my
All
presentation.
right. Did anybody, while she was talking, download that Genesis? I did, while you're thinking about that answer. Oh, you can't see it, can you?
Got to back it up. I think
I
you
have to back it up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there.
that's what, it tells me my address and it tells me everything is normal. But then it gives me options to go to more details. And it'll tell me my zone and it gives me a map. See, it's not gonna do it.
You got to back up.
I'm trying different things. Anyways, and then down at the bottom, it also goes on, it's got a map and an icon for fires. And it updates by distance all the fires that are around me when they were last updated and their information as well. So again, one more tool. Watch Duty is great, but it looks like they're going to incorporate some of that here too. So, all right, Mike, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to try and demonstrate this app from my phone. So stand by while I share screen with my phone, and then we'll work on audio to make sure that's okay. So stand by. Okay. And y'all hear me? Okay.
I can hear you.
That makes me happy. All right, let me go to where I want to be here again. Okay, so this is the San Diego County Emergency app. It is available on the Google Store and the Apple Store. You can find it for either uh, system that you're using, and it's really jam-packed with great information. This is the beginning menu, and one of the first things you'll want to do when you install this and then get the beginning menu, you see in the upper right-hand corner the little thing that we sometimes refer to as a hamburger. It's generally a menu. So I'm going to click on that, and it will bring up this menu for me here. I will start with settings, and you go in here and you set it up according to this. You want to have these things turned on. It'll make sense to you once you get there. So I don't want to spend a lot of time on it. But then there's the Shake Ready San Diego Earthquake Alert. Let me go back. See where it says Shake Ready San Diego settings? I click on that. It takes me to this screen, which helps me set what I want for that. I want to turn on the alerts, and I want to have everything issued in miles so that I can understand it. So that's a couple of things that you want to do right off the bat to get started. I'm going back to the home screen. On the home screen, you will see that there are disaster information notations. And the last one they have issued for the county was an excessive heat warning that was issued on July 9th. They haven't put anything on there since July 9th. So you want to check there, and we can move on. One of the things I do want to mention about the earthquake alert, they're saying that we will probably get a warning in seconds before. It keeps mentioning that you will probably only get a warning from an earthquake seconds before it happens. So in practicality, it may not, I wouldn't rely on it too much. It's good to have it. But if it's going to be seconds, you'll probably be shaking before you notice that your phone is giving you an alert, and you bring it up and you find your phone first, if you're like me, and then you bring it up, and by then you'll be under the table, hopefully hanging on. So just keep that in mind. So let's go to Ready San Diego, the very first thing in the top. Now this has got a lot of really cool stuff. Stay informed is another thing that you want to bring up. And this gives you a lot of information. It's a whole subset of things that you can do. You can register for emergency alerts here, Alert San Diego registration. This is where you actually sign up for Alert San Diego registration. That's in the Ready menu, which you can access by pushing at the top, or you can access by pushing at the bottom. And so you come in there and stay informed. And if you want to sign up for that at this location, this is where you sign up for emergency alerts from the city of San Diego. It also goes into other menus for preparedness and things like that. We won't get into it because this app has some really, really good preparation features. They have information on earthquakes, as you can see that they're all here. All the ones that they have here, some that are not common in other preparations. And we could take something like wildfire. And I want to pick this one in particular because this PDF that you can download from this app is really, really good. Ready, set, go. It's fantastic for helping you prepare your home and fireproofing your home from the outside. And it has lots of little check boxes and lots of awesome things. And you can see, I'll kind of scroll down. I try not to do it so fast that it will make your head go crazy. But you see all of the different things that it's addressing here. Emergency access, when wildfire approaches. I highly recommend the app for this, just for this. And the other thing that I like about it is my experience has been so far that when you want to prepare for something and all the different ones, there's not all suggestions appeal to everybody. So I like to have availability, a lot of different available things for people who may find one, oh, I like that one. This makes sense to me. I can do this. I will fill it out. And some of these that you fill out, some of the little worksheets and stuff, you can save and download it to your computer, which is pretty cool. You create it here on the app, and then you can download it on your computer. So as you can see, during an earthquake, it starts giving you, what do you do if you're in bed, if you're outside, if you're driving, if you live in a multi-level building. I like that at the bottom of this, they show what to do if you are in a wheelchair. I have some other little things like that that show you what to do if you have a cane. It's good. It's good information, and I think that since we're in the business of helping people be prepared, then we want to have resources that they can choose from. So make a plan. Let me just jump on that real quick. So this is your step-by-step plan. You click on out of state. It brings up this little note thing that you can type in your out-of-state contact. You can save it, and then you'll have it on your phone, or you can print it out later when you need it. I always suggest having a hard copy backup of everything that you put on your phone, and make sure everything you put on your phone is accessible without requiring data. In other words, save it as a file on your phone that you can bring up, and all you'll need is for your phone to work, and you'll be able to see it and to use it. Get involved. I'm not going to go into that very much, but it talks about the Red Cross. It talks about CERT and some other things that if you're looking for more to do and more things to get involved with, it's a great place. Community readiness is also something there. So we will now go back to the home, and then we're going to go to emergencies, and have here a map that comes up. Now, it looked a little yellow bit of information at the bottom of the screen on the left-hand side mentions the Genesis app. That's this is going to be laid out in the Genesis evacuation districts instead of the old ones. So there's nothing going on, so you're not going to see anything on this screen, but it does give you a map of what's happening. If you need shelters, information shelters, it's the same thing. You see a little yellow thing popping up on the bottom that tells you that it's Genesis. There are no shelters that are in place right now, so you wouldn't see anything now, but you will later on when you really need it. This is the Shake Ready app. I would just suggest you go look at it, read it, make your own decision on how you want to use it. There's disaster information that we looked at that was on the homepage. It's the very same thing. As it's there. Getting involved, same thing. But this is, I like, is the social media. And it lists the social media for San Diego County, CAL FIRE. If you're living in Carlsbad or Chula Vista, let's go to Chula Vista and click on it. And so you get to their online social presence there, and you'll see the latest information from their City of Chula Vista. Last post from them was June 15, 2021. But it helps you connect with your community. It covers all of San Diego County, but there are a lot of different communities. So that is somewhat useful, in my opinion. Okay, so down at the bottom, notice that the same thing that is on the home page is also at the bottom of the page. So Ready San Diego is there, emergency recovery. It's at the bottom. So I will use the bottom to go to recovery. Just trying to give you a little bit of heads up on how you can navigate through it. Resources. This is in the recovery part. So it covers everything. It helps you get prepared. It warns you during the actual event that things are happening. And then after you've been through the disaster or whatever, depending on what your needs are, they have who you can contact to recover. And they give you great advice. And so it's really kind of like soup to nuts, all at one location. It really is a great app. And I suggest that you download it because you will learn something from it. Local assistance centers. It's a map, and there's nothing on it because at the current time they don't have any that are available. Now this is a very, very cool thing too. I didn't tell you what I was selecting. Red Guide to Recovery. This has been around for a long time. Can't remember, was it 2012 or something like that it was created. But you can go down and you see where it says condensed version San Diego County. You can download that condensed version for free. If you want to buy the full version, you click on the click here to buy the full version. I'm cheap, so I can't tell you what it says there. I downloaded the condensed version. And then it also has social. Let's see, is this the same thing we looked at before? Yeah, it's a repeat of one of the things that were accessible on the other screen. So there you go, 10 minutes, a brief overview, San Diego County Emergency App. That's what you look for at the app stores. Download it, become familiar with it. You can access it and use it in your teaching processes. And also it's good for your own use as well. So any questions?
Can I make a comment? This is Steve.
Go ahead, Steve.
When I worked at the local assistance centers for the flood, I found this app was so helpful. You had all these out-of-state disaster people that came in, you know, from FEMA to do this. And I would tell them to put this app on their phone since they were going to be living in San Diego for a month or two while they serviced and they found this so helpful because and I found it at the LAC. We'd always hear rumors of when this was going to happen or when that was going to happen, but I could find out when something actual was officially activated by looking on this app sooner than I could by somebody coming by the booth and telling me, you know, the voucher was extended or this was happening. And so I went to this as the truth. Well, the other things you hear on social media sometimes are the carts before the horse. Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. I found it to be very helpful, very robust, and very affordable. It's free. Who doesn't like that? Unless it's bed bugs. All right. Anything else, Terry, or are you ready to take over?
No, I guess I'm ready to take over. I put everything in the chat. So if you want to see those links and whatnot, they're in the chat. You can go to that. I also wanted to, because I was going to give a little report on the San Diego flood long-term recovery efforts that are going on still here. We are pretty much not doing anything other than we're putting in another food order request through Sister Jimenez to go to the warehouse. So those people that are still displaced from their homes and haven't gone back yet, put in request orders similar to like a Bishop Storehouse or food order. And then their case managers from the community recovery team take that order and go back to the flood recovery warehouse and then shop for them. And then they have volunteers bring it to those people. So even though the flood recovery is still going to take 2 years or so, our role in it is diminishing. And I got clarification from Sister Jimenez that, you know, once people get back into their homes, the church usually steps away from assistance, letting their family and community local resources take over their faith-based orgs and so forth and so on. So as far as I know, none of the wards or stakes are doing anything there, but we are still putting that food order in here real soon. And they extended it to have hygiene products, shampoos, deodorants, hairbrushes, toothbrushes, and then food products, rice and beans, and now peanut butter as well. So they'll get about 2 pallets or 1 pallet of the hygiene and 2 pallets of the food of each of those. So, but it just brought me back to when the flood was going on. One of the things that we also used was the crisis recovery. And, you know, that helped identify all the organizations that wanted to volunteer and help. We were registering the victims of the flood, their properties on this crisis cleanup. And it's that national program that's used for many disasters all across the nation, but was for the first time being used in San Diego. And so all these homes and whatever their needs were, whatever degree of their need was listed on this crisis recovery. And as our stake, the San Diego South and San Diego stakes, went to help with some of the muck out that happened, they used that to identify which cases that they could send volunteers to. They would claim it, they would work it, then they would input back into the computer and show that the work had been done. So it was very effective. I just wanted to point out that, again, when I had mentioned the emergency response information on the church's website under the stake presidency, that down at the bottom of the emergency response procedures, they have a video how the church organizes before and after disasters. And even though it doesn't mention crisis cleanup, it takes you, you know, before, during, and after the disaster and how they responded to it. And it clearly shows crisis cleanup being used there. So since it's new to us and people weren't sure, you know, are we allowed to use it? Is it vetted by the church? The answer is yes. And we do use it. So for future disasters, that might be something that you become more and more aware of and should use. So just wanted to put that out there. And other than that,
Terry?
Yes, Stephen.
Terry? Can I add one? Because everyone should know that we have our young church service missionaries stationed at the working down at the VOAD warehouse. I don't
You're
know
right.
exactly what their schedule is, but there's 2, maybe 3 of them, and they work 1 or 2 days a week down there. And as you said, the church is not doing anything organized besides the young church service missionaries, but any member can go look at, any member or community group can go look at the Just Serve sites, and they like to use Hands in San Diego to link them to Just Serve, if I remember right. But you can go to the Just Serve sites and see that they're always needing volunteers to help put the products together, and a delivery team in the afternoon to take them to people's homes as they move in, so they have cleaning supplies and things they need to get started.
And that is on an individual basis?
That's right.
That is
Well,
on an
you can
individual
always
basis, so anyone from any state can do that.
Any group can do that, or a class could do, you know, anyone who would like to organize themselves in a useful project. I would suggest you go to Just Serve and find the crisis cleanup. What's it called? Oh, you sent the link out many times before, Terry.
Yeah, I'd have to look it up and put it out on the minutes.
But that is a very effective way of being very effective in helping these people.
It does tend to get lost on Just Serve because it's populated by so many other projects, and pulling it up seemed to be hard. I believe it was Community Recovery Team.
That's right. If you search for Community Recovery Team, or if you go like into Hands, is it Hands in San Diego, or
Hands on San Diego?
Yeah. But all of those, when you go in and say, I want to volunteer, take you right over to the Just Serve site and have you sign up.
With that being said, Mike Guyman, the San Diego State being closest to that, they recently had a family activity day, which they often need volunteers for. Now they approached Stephen and I and asked, you know, like the Monday before it was happening on a Saturday, and asked us if we could get volunteers, because even though it was on Just Serve, they weren't getting a response from it. So again, it tends to get lost. And sometimes we need to reach out to our relief societies for a specific event if we have enough time ahead of time that we can push the actual link and send it out through newsletters within wards and stakes so that they can be directed to that specific event coming up. And here's the link. So it's an easy process. So in the future, they'll probably have 3 or 4 more of those events coming up. We would be looking to our stake representatives to send it to you again, your relief society elder quorums, to push those events and see if we can't get help in that. So be on the lookout for that. The 2 elders are Elder Reed and Elder Hunter. I can't remember which stakes they are from here, but they are being trained as forklift operators in that warehouse, and they like their job. Apparently it's going really well. So, and those are our service missionaries, right? Different from your everyday. Do they identify it as proselyting missionaries? I don't know. But so they were happy to serve there. So with that being said, are there any events coming up around the county in your stakes that we should be aware of? And push, okay, no fairs. I think Valley Center is the next one to have an SDG emergency fair. So Marquis has already left, but I'll send that information out to him to push out to the Escondido area, because I think Escondido Stake has Valley Center. Is that right? If I'm remembering our boundaries, since they've shrunk over the little bit. And anybody else have any information that they want to share? Okay, so then that puts us ending maybe a little bit early, but hopefully you have those dates calendared for the September and October. And August is going to be nice and hot. Our fire season is well underway. It's above average. And just constantly be aware, use your apps to keep you informed. And welcome back, Mike DeGraw. I know that you've been out of town quite a bit, and this is your 1 weekend, huh? You're muted now.
They're kind of getting back into the swing of things, like making sure my radio network's all still working well.
Yeah, I know when Delmar had their fire, we had a lot of smoke blowing to Poway, and we had a lot of people asking, where is that coming from? So did you get any people asking you specifically if there was something they should be aware of during that time period?
No, I had a few people, I had that weekly newsletter that goes out, and I had some people respond to that. It was mostly just on, how to use solar energy. I got nobody asking about the smoke, but I wasn't here those weeks either. So
I wasn't either.
Here over a month.
Right. So as we often see, it's always when we're out of town. Okay, so why don't we go ahead and end this meeting for tonight? And Brother Griffin, can I ask you to give us our closing prayer?
Sure. Just a thought that we've been doing here in our stake, since we don't have any table of authority at the state level. So we're working more with our high counselor and having him talk to the elders quorum to encourage them through the various events and things that are happening. That way the line of authority comes from somebody they understand who they are, and lots of times they don't know who we are. So that's our new tactic, is to go through our high counselor, him to the stake, and also the elders quorum president sees to pass the word.
Okay, are they getting together as a group though, and working together at all, eyeball to eyeball, or is it all just
that's
phones
ever
and text?
happened in the history of the world or in the church, in our stakes? They just don't get this council idea together. So we're just pushing the one thing that we know we can talk to. That's the emergency app, getting people like Mike presented, and getting that on each of their phones. And the rest of the stuff will take care of itself, as we've seen over the years. I don't know if this, the council is a great thing. We've been talking about it, but so eventually we thought we'd just go through the high counselor over emergency response and have him talk to the elders quorum president versus going to the ward emergency people, because they change in, a lot of times they never get calls, but at least we
Yeah.
get the table of authority, and I think that's a really good way we can present this to them.
Yeah, every stake is going to definitely operate a little differently. So we thank you for those efforts. And we just hope that you're still networking with your community, local resources, and looking for other ways to input information, you know, and get updated information to your members and to your stakes. So keep up the good work. Thank you. So if you could give that opening prayer, that would be great.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we're so grateful for Terry and her team to be able to pull together this emergency response meetings. We ask that you continue to bless them with inspiration and encouragement to come out and present these ideas to us. We love them. We thank thee for all those that are participating tonight. We ask thee to bless them in their activities. And we say these things in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. And just so you know, Brother Griffin, just in case, you know, anyone wants a short presentation on how to use that app. Oh, he's left already. Oh, no, there you are. You know, Brother Guyman would probably be able to share that presentation or even give that presentation again. So anyone that might be wanting to put small groups together to help people navigate through that, that's something to think about.
Now, is this recording that he did, is this a segue recording, or is it part of the whole meeting? Can we
It's the
take,
whole meeting.
okay, so maybe Brother Guyman can make a video of it and go on YouTube, and we can use it that direction, because that'd be easier for them to represent it to the elders forum, and they can present it out.
Yeah, I can make a copy, an edited copy of this presentation. I did a presentation for the emergency communications specialist as well. So we actually have two versions of it.
How will we get it from you?
I will make it available. I'll give you the link and the address to watch it.
Thank you.
When you're
on YouTube.
When you're doing a small group, you might want to do the more in-depth one that Mike did with his communication group. I like that one quite a bit.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Right. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Mickey.
Yeah, good job.
Good night.
Mickey. Bye, Steve. Thank you.
Good night.
You guys did a good job too.
For the
Thank you.
mission. Thank you.